We're here at Bicester Heritage for the XK Media Day, and I'm with Philip and Julie Porter, co-founders of the International XK Club. Philip, you bought some XKs when you were a very young man in the 1970s, the early 1970s. Perhaps you could explain a little about how you came to buy those cars and what you've done with them since.
Indeed, James. Well, my father had a 120 Roadster, which I just about remember. It was a sort of spare car. By then it was probably rather an old car because it was mid-50s. But I remember this white XK 120 with red upholstery, and I just thought it was absolutely wonderful. And then I had dinky models of XKs and that sort of thing. So I was keen on them from a young age. And I started competing when I was at school and this, that and the other. So I was keen on motorsport. But XKs in the early 70s was just starting to appreciate. And I knew that I wanted to own one, two, maybe several. I needed to buy them then, before they were well out of reach. So I rushed around, scraping together what I could, bought a few, because, to give an example, my 120 fixed head over there was £150. It was in need of full restoration, to say the very least. But, and over there I can see my first 120 Roadster just driving past. The others were, well, my 140 Drophead, the green one over there, was £340. So again in need of restoration, but I managed to drive it home. So I acquired acquired 5 XKs. I did subsequently sell one later on, my XK 150, but I acquired 4 very, very reasonably. One only was on the road, my 140 Roadster, very rare in right-hand drive form. I enjoyed that for many years indeed. They're super reliable, that's the great thing about XKs, very, very usable, and had lots of fun in them. That's the thing, it's experiences, lots of good fun. And we felt that perhaps subsequently there ought to be a club for them, specifically for XKs.
Absolutely. So, Julie, you founded the XK Club late 1990s. What was the sort of ethos of the club that you were looking for? Because it's slightly different from other owners' clubs, isn't it? Which they can sometimes be a bit bogged down with committees and politics, and that was very much not what you guys wanted to do with the XK Club.
Absolutely right. I mean, it wasn't intended to be clubby, although it was a club. And in fact, we found that the sort of people that joined us and became members were not all about being part of a society as such, but they just loved using the cars. And in the early days, then we took real pleasure in organising events for them. And in fact, in 1998, which was XK50, the 50th anniversary of the XK, we organised a UK tour of 10 days, and we had 67 cars. And we were over full. We nearly had a second version of it because we had so many. But it was amazing because we got together for the first time with our club members in a main way. Having started the club in '97, then to organise a tour of that magnitude the next year was pretty big, and meeting people
and it was very
fascinating. Oh, completely. We had maybe certainly 60% of the participants on that particular tour were UK, the others were rest of world and Europe. Okay. And there was America, Australia, 6 European countries, a big contingent from Switzerland and from Germany. And they often do, Switzerland and Germany, owners and club members, come over to our events in the UK really often. Yes, they're really, really good supporters.
You know, there's a fabulous spirit and a friendship amongst everybody, a lovely camaraderie, and it's just delightful. And this funny little club has changed people's lives. And there are people here today who now are tremendous friends just through the club. And we don't necessarily talk about cars the whole time, we certainly don't talk about XKs the whole time. They're more worldly wise, cultured people. It's just a common denominator, but also a passport to a super lifestyle.
Yeah. And the club is very much about using and enjoying the cars as well, isn't it? And Julie,
absolutely.
Philip's now got the cars that he mentioned earlier are now fully restored, back on the road.
Yes.
Are they cars that you enjoy driving?
They are. Now they're restored and back on the road. I hasten to add. And in fact, the fixed head, the 120 fixed head, we did actually use on the XK50 tour, going back to that again. But that was the first time that I'd driven a classic car. And it was phenomenal, just restored. We had our moments in it, but in fact since then I've driven all of them and I love them. We were out on Wednesday night taking 2 of the cars, the XKs, out in preparation for today. And I have to say, the XK rode the potholes better than any four-wheel drive, and today that's just a factor of life, isn't it?
Yes.
But actually it goes fast, and if you're following somebody like Philip who goes fast, you've got to keep up. Well, in fact they do. They really do drive nicely, and it's great. It's a lovely looking car. It's very nice to be in. So yeah, I drive them. I like them.
And the fact that we've got so many of your club members here today, I think that's testament to how popular the club continues to be as well. So
We're very fortunate, a lovely bunch of people. I mean, we say that very, very sincerely, very genuinely. We've made so many friends through it, and the loyalty is so touching, because we run the clubs, we started, and you sort of alluded to this, as a business, not as a way of making money, but to keep all the politics out of it. We have no committees, and we have no politics. And we have this lovely spirit. We're all in it together to enjoy our cars and each other's company.
Philip and Julie Porter, thanks very much.
Thank you, James.